kingdom, you see me sitting on the throne. I got God's spirit in me, ready for these demons in my phone. These fake friends like AI, making it up as they go. Ink is cheap, but on the check, I'm a new tax record. Whoa, new clothes, new drip, FaceTime. You know I'm on beast mode. This supposed to be paradise. You know my wrist stay froze, surrounded by the conflict. They say when you praying, you know somebody's dying. They say I'm hurting all these feelings. The way I touch
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Back to back. Good
morning. This is still.
This reached a level so dangerous. Highest in my city. You can see it in HD.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Like I said earlier, it's only one. Keys to the kingdom, you see me sitting on the throne. I got God's spirit in me, ready for these demons in my phone. These fake friends like AI, making it up as they go. Ink is cheap, but on the check, I'm a new tax record. When it's time to relocate, I'm talking brand new real estate. Ain't no limits to the sky, ain't no wings, but I look fly. I took the energy of my enemies, now I'm a god in the cloud. Posted in the hood, flexing my whip before I bought
Let's
my
get
first
this show
house.
started, ladies and gentlemen. You know what we came to do. Let's go. Oh my goodness. You know exactly what we came to do, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. What is this going on right here? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I see right now. Let's see. Oh my goodness. We're having a little technical difficulties, but that will be okay. All right. That will be okay, ladies and gentlemen. You see what happens when you start early. All right, let's go. All right, here we go. Oh, no paid propaganda. Cut it out.
I feel like I'm stuck in a cycle.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like a curse, and I can't escape it. It's like deja vu. It's me.
Let's go!
It's deja vu when I'm running up these racks. I'm back to turning on the screen.
I'll be back.
It's deja vu when I'm not here flying first class. It's like every
let's
week I
go.
gotta take out the trash. I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. You can tell that I made it. Look at my grass. Cars in the garage with tanks full of
Let's
gas.
go.
Play a game Super Bowl, I won't finish last.
Ariana, good morning.
This is how it's supposed to happen when you're rich and famous. That algorithm turned me to a maniac. I guess we going viral cause my zodiac. I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet. Benjamin Franklin is my bestie. And if they is my ex, that mean they left me. They don't give replies if they text me. I say it with my chest cause I mean it. Got a lot of confidence and I'm conceited. Call me the master with a new whip. I'ma take off in a split shit.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days. That shit was radical. It was horrible.
It was.
I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
It's like deja vu.
And I love it.
It's like deja
Good morning,
vu.
Lisa.
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
It's deja vu.
All right, DJ, go ahead and kill the music. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome to the show. All right. Well, you know exactly what we came to do. All right. So let's get some of the housekeeping items out of the way. For those of you who do not know who I am, let me introduce myself. I go by the name, good morning, Jess. I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The first H stands for honesty, all right? I'm the most honest person on social media. There's nobody more honest than me, all right? The second H is because I'm humble. There's nobody more humble than me on social media. Listen, if I get it wrong, I will be the first to apologize. It just turns out I haven't been wrong lately, all right? And that's just how the cookie crumbles. And then the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, is because I am and will always remain what? The most handsome! Many of you are very familiar with what we do over here on this side of town. All right, what we do on this side of town is quite special. We hold our friends on the right, especially their leader, Donald J. Trump, accountable for their dirty, disgusting, filthy deeds as well as their crimes. And believe you me, when it comes to our friends on the right, there's a lot of dirty, disgusting deeds and crimes, all right? There's a lot to go around, all right? And so along those lines, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure we are all on the same page about the format of this show. This is not a safe space for MAGA. All right, this is not a space for MAGA to come and air their grievances with Joe Biden. Absolutely not. This is a space for all who are possessed with that MAGA demon. It's a strong demonic force that's over these folks that are in the Trump cult, right? This is a space for you to come in and sit your special behinds down and listen to this special broadcast, all right? See, if you're lactose intolerant, that's what my good friend Brother Swerve once said. You're lactose intolerant. That means you are allergic to the facts. Like, you could be lactose intolerant. That means you're allergic to lactose, right? If you're lactose intolerant, right? I'm going to ask you to do me a huge favor. Leave this live right now and go on about your miserable mornings, all right? Go on about your miserable day. Go into a live being hosted by probably one of those MAGA demons, one of those fake TikTok lawyers, fake TikTok hosts, those liars, those Russian hosts now. You know what's so funny, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of Russians, right? I mean, we'll get into that later. I didn't realize how serious this Russian thing was really, right? But we're really there. Good morning, DJ. All right, because guess what? If you are allergic to the facts of the truth, this live is going to make you extremely uncomfortable, right? If you're happy, it'll make you feel sad and depressed. If you are hungry, you'll feel full. Oh my gosh, I'm not hungry. You just pulled through that McDonald's, you ordered the Egg McMuffin special, you asked them to give you a Coke and a hash brown, and then you were about to watch this live and start laughing, but then you found out it's nothing really funny about what Zeus is saying, right? Because Zeus is ruining your breakfast, right? So that's my warning to you, all right, you traitors. But guess what? You don't got to take my word for it. What? Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with today's show. All right. I just want to make sure we all have a understanding. All right. I've always talked about the Russian bears on my platform, right? Because we have these folks out here who are Trump supporters. One time I was having a conversation with a Russian bear, and this is what they said to me.
Hold on. You poke the bear, you're gonna get the bear.
So this is some bear poking right here, and I'm now starting to understand this wasn't just a mere Freudian slip, right? This is Russian propaganda being perpetuated by MAGA. I thought it was just on TikTok. I really did. But in light of all of this information, Alexander Smirnov, right? This is the FBI informant that had the dirt on Biden. Now we're finding out has ties to Russia and has been peddling this information to the Republican Party, especially MAGA. This, ladies and gentlemen, is indicative of what Vladimir Putin is currently doing to the MAGA Republican Party in Congress, all right? And so, you know how we do this, ladies and gentlemen. We normally kick the show off with some booze and shame, but I'm going to ask you to hold that for just one quick second as we transition into what I really want to get into. The truth. All right, many of you know exactly what I stand for and what I represent. This is why Trump supporters don't like me, right? Look at me, right? No strings attached. I am not a hand puppet, all right? Despite what a lot of these people on TikTok are doing, right? They make videos about Zeus trying to say this and that, but they're not going to change a thing, right? I'm still going to be on message. And so I want to kick this show off by speaking on what Biden made President Joseph R. Biden, probably going to go down in the history books as one of the greatest presidents, right? He tore into the Republicans by making a very, very, very strong statement. This is one of the strongest statements I've heard him say this year. He says, "I've served with real racists, but these guys are worse." Now, I know that a lot of Trump supporters out there are going to sit here and they're going to try to liken it to President Biden's remarks that he said in the past on the Breakfast Club. Remember this?
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't black.
I went into a live yesterday and they quote Biden wrong when they say that Biden never said it. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. I just want to clear this up. He said, if you have a problem figuring out whether you want to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black. And I stand on that. I stand shoulder to shoulder with President Biden on that, because if you are black and you do vote for Donald Trump, as far as I'm concerned, I'm likening it to those slaves that during the Civil War decided they were going to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Confederate, right? I totally understand where President Biden is coming from. All right, so let's kick this speech off. All right, before his White House career began, President Joe Biden spent 36 years in the United States Senate. Some of his former colleagues, like Senator Jesse Helms, a Republican from North Carolina, and Strom Thurmond, a Republican from South Carolina, were open segregationists. But the president recently said that the current crop of Republicans are worse than them. Now, you got to ask yourself, how could you be worse than a racist? And I said maybe Biden is tripping today. How can someone be worse than a racist? But Biden's not tripping. Senile Joe, dementia Joe, whatever you want to call him, he's not tripping. He's right. The New York Times reported that while addressing an audience at a fundraiser in California, Biden was particularly candid in his analysis of today's GOP. Though he didn't attack any specific members by name. He says, I served with real racists, Biden said. I served with Strom Thurmond. I've served with all of these guys that have terrible records on race. But guess what? These guys are worse. These guys don't believe in basic democratic principles. Thurmond still holds the record for the longest speaking filibuster of any legislation when he spoke for a total of 14 hours and 18 minutes against the Civil Rights Act of 1957. The president said that despite the terrible things Thurmond did during his career, he managed to redeem himself by the time he left office in 2003 at the age of 100. Biden noted that his late former colleague had more African Americans in his staff than any other member in Congress, and that he voted to reauthorize the Voting Rights Act. I'm not making him more than he was, Biden added, but my point is at least you could work with some of these guys. Biden's comments about Republicans currently in Congress being worse than racists like Strom Thurmond come as leading GOP figures continue to draw criticism for racist remarks. In 2022, Senator Tommy Tuberville, a Republican from Alabama, blasted some Democrats' calls for reparations for slavery, saying the Democrats were pro-crime and that they think the people who do the crime are owed reparations. His comments was denounced by the NAACP. In the House of Representatives, Marjorie Taylor Greene was condemned for remarks that same year promoting the racist Great Replacement conspiracy theory that the mass unaliving shooter in Buffalo, New York also subscribed to. At a rally in Arizona, Greene said Joe Biden's 5 million illegal aliens are on the verge of replacing you, replacing your jobs and replacing your kids in school and coming from all over the world. They are replacing your culture, and that's not great for America. And earlier this year, GOP presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy did events alongside Representative Steve King, another Republican ahead of the Iowa caucuses, who had previously defended the terms white nationalists and white supremacists before getting voted out of office in 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, why Biden said this, I want you to understand what's worse than a racist. And this is what it is. He says you can't even work with these folks in Congress. And, the reason you can't work with them is because not only are they racist, but they are also traitors, right? I never thought we would be at a point in our society where you could be racist and then take it up a notch and be a traitor, right? So guess what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen? Let's kick this show off the way we normally do, right? Get those tomatoes out. Get those boos and shame out, please. Get those blueberries out for those Trump supporters that like to brag about how much money they got and drive those black pickup trucks, right? Get those boos and shame to get out, ladies and gentlemen. Join me in giving Donald Trump and his supporters what they deserve. Because they had to force President Biden to go in his bag again and call it like he sees it. Not only have they somehow managed to still be racist, all right, because we know they are, but they've gone lower and they have became traitors. You guys are some racist traitors. Imagine that. Let's give them what they deserve. Some booze and shame.
Silence, you MAGA demon!
Silence, you MAGA demons. That's a new level of low. That's unforgivable. And to my friends that are on the left that are still, struggling to figure out why you should vote for President Biden and not Donald Trump and these MAGA demons, I'm hoping that some of this lands on your lap so you can understand what's really going on out here, all right? I get it. You want Biden to be, pretty much Jesus, the 2024 version of Jesus. I totally understand that. But the soul of this country is truly on the line. Do you understand what's going on? You have folks out here who have managed to go beyond being racist to just flat out being traitors, all right? And this is the country you want to leave behind for your children. I don't know how to make sense of that. I really don't. All right, but what I do know how to make sense of is this. Lawrence O'Donnell, I know a lot of you know who he is. Yesterday there was a good piece that I found on him, and he was talking about Biden's memory. You ever heard them say dementia Joe? Biden doesn't know what he's doing and saying. You ever heard these folks say that? Well, Lawrence O'Donnell had a nice little piece that I want to share with all of you, all right? Just to point out just how sharp President Joe Biden is, all right? Let's go, Lawrence. Go ahead and give it to us, champ. Oh my goodness, we gotta make this thing load. Hold on. Sometimes, if you let it sit too long, it takes a while to get going. But I want to make sure we are all on the same page about President Biden's mental.
Biden should step aside because they want the Democrats to win, are basing that strategy on the notion that Joe Biden is just too old.
Oh.
And the notion that Joe Biden is too old is based on a complete and utter misunderstanding of the work of the presidency. The job is to make decisions, not speeches. History writes about the decisions. That's what matters.
Exactly.
If you have worked in government, you know that, because speech making is the only thing that the news media is allowed to watch. In a presidency, the news media insists that that must be important. It's just like the Super Bowl. You can remember what Patrick Mahomes did on the field, but you can't remember a word of his speech. And that's for very good reason. The job is on the field. Everyone who sees Joe Biden doing his job behind closed doors believes he is fully capable to do that job and is good at that job, including former Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who, though he disagreed with Joe Biden, always thought President Biden was fully capable when he was in the room negotiating with him last year. Last year, when Joe Biden managed to do what seemed impossible and convince the Republican Speaker of the House to go along with a deal that would prevent the United States of America from defaulting on its debt for the first time in history and violating the debt ceiling. It looked impossible at the outset, but Joe Biden did it.
Bingo.
Jon Stewart asked a question recently that makes sense in the age of the ubiquitous camera. We all have one in our pocket. He asked, did anyone film that? And he was referring to all of those reports that are out there from people who have been in private meetings and negotiations with President Biden and have seen him perform flawlessly. Did anyone film that? That's the problem with the presidency. We only film the parts that don't matter. We're not allowed to film the real job.
You hear that? That's the problem with the presidency. You only film the parts that don't matter. Joe Biden has been running laps around the MAGA Republicans in Congress. They wanted a deal at the border. We gave them a deal, and he showed them just how hypocritical they were, right? Joe Biden, they wanted to impeach him. They said he was guilty. But guess what? Not only is he not guilty, he's so clean that the dirt that they claimed they had, it turns out it came from a Russian spy, right? Biden still shining. You want to say Biden was getting money from China, but then we find out it was Donald Trump who's getting money from China. But yet y'all want to sit back here and say Biden is slow and he has dementia. No, he's not. You just don't understand what the job of the president is. And so you're going to continue to keep getting beat, and you're going to get beat in November. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we got to do. Join me in giving these traitors, these Trump supporters, what they truly deserve this bright and early on a Thursday morning, right? It's February 22nd. Another round of booze and shame. You know, like I said, I see there's some dissension in my comment section. Maybe you didn't hear me at the top of the show, right? When I said I gave you a heads up. I gave you a heads up about the content that's coming out of this live. It's all truth, no lies detected. And if you don't like it here, you know what I said. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Yep. I firmly believe that. Is there anybody in the audience forcing MAGA to stay right here in the country? I know I have some traitors in the comments. Is there anyone out there forcing these traitors to stay in the United States? Anyone out there? I'm asking for a friend. Nope. You see that? Nope. You want to make America great, MAGA? Leave this country. I firmly believe if we deport MAGA, this country can move on towards the path of greatness. But it won't happen as quick as I would like as long as we got these traitors amongst us. All right. So let's move on to our next topic. All right. This is interesting. Ex-prosecutor calls for James Comer and Jim Jordan to be investigated criminally. All right. And this is with response to the star witness in the GOP-led impeachment inquiry having to wear a GPS ankle bracelet and facing charges for lying to the FBI about a multi-million-dollar bribery scheme implicating President Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden. All right. He lied. He got the information from Russia, and still, with all this information out there, you still have Jim Jordan and James Comer openly peddling Russian information, misinformation, disinformation, whatever you want to call it. And so let's listen to our good friend Glenn Kirshner break it down.
And it feels like somebody dropped the ball here, because this information that now it turns out is basically Russian disinformation just had this direct pipeline to the FBI first and foremost, and then ultimately directly to Congress. And I think the big question now is, what will the Republican members of Congress do now that they know that these are lies that they have been peddling as ably assisted by Fox News? Will they continue to peddle those lies? And if they do, Lawrence, I heard Congressman Daniel Goldman on this network earlier this evening saying something that I am in agreement with. He said if the members of Congress now continue to peddle knowing lies that are a product of Russian propaganda and disinformation, they should be criminally investigated for being part and parcel of a conspiracy to defraud the United States and to interfere in our elections. And Representative Goldman himself, a former federal prosecutor, knows whereof he speaks.
So you hear what we're getting at. These two knuckleheads right here, the ones that have became not just racist, but traitors as well. They're racist traitors. They are engaging in what looks to us like election interference. They're doing this work on behalf of Vladimir Putin. And they have no regards to the Constitution. Remember when President Biden, when he said it,
MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. They refuse to accept the results of a free election.
Thank you, President Biden. You are absolutely right. So guess what we're going to do? Number one, we should definitely do all we can to encourage the DOJ, Biden's DOJ, to investigate James Comer and Jim Jordan, because I'm having a hard time understanding why they still continue to peddle this information unless they themselves are a part of it, right? And so because of that, you know what we got to do? Join me in giving Jim Jordan and James Comer what they truly deserve, because they don't have any shame. We got to give it to them. Another round of booze and shame.
Silence, you MAGA demon!
Silence, you MAGA demons. You are demons. And don't come into my live and pretend like you're not. Don't ask me why I call you that. Don't ask Zeus no more questions, because chances are I've already answered a lot of your questions. The issue isn't that I'm not giving you an answer. The issue is simple. You just refuse to believe and accept the truth. That's because you got a MAGA demon in you. Right, Z-Pac? All right, moving along, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go up to Fulton County and talk about Fani Willis. You wouldn't believe this, ladies and gentlemen. Not only are they going after Fani Willis, right? They're trying to say there's a conflict of interest with Fani Willis. The MAGA demon is now saying that there's a conflict of interest with the judge. All right. This is what they're saying. All right. Now again, we all know how this got started.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Right, that had nothing to do with Fani Willis, all right, or Judge Scott McAfee in Fulton County. But yet and still, MAGA is up to their old tricks again, right? A new claim of judicial bias against Donald Trump in a criminal case arose and was smacked down on the same day. A Breitbart reporter earlier in the day stated that Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee is biased against Trump in the criminal case, alleging a conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election in the state. Wendell Hosbrough reported that the judge donated to Fani Willis's, all right, the prosecutor who is in charge with that case. The donation of $150, although it is small, appears to present a conflict of interest for Judge McAfee, he wrote. Judges are supposed to be impartial and to avoid any appearance of conflict of interest. The judge donated to Willis on June 20th and while working for Joe Biden's DOJ. This is what he said. A conservative account responded to the report and said this: so citizens should not donate to politicians just in case they get appointed to be on the bench in the future. Is that a new rule? Georgia State law professor Anthony Michael Christ took a moment to respond to the new allegation. This is non-news, he wrote. Sincerely, anyone familiar with Georgia politics. When asked to elaborate further, they said exceptionally small donations do not constitute a conflict of interest. This stuff has been litigated extensively. You see what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen? They're just trying to throw whatever they can at the wall to see what sticks, and it's not going to work. So guess what we're going to do? Join me once again in giving these Trump supporters what they truly, truly deserve. Another round of what? Booze and shame! You have nothing! You have nothing!
Silence! You MAGA demon!
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's move it along. All right, you see where we're at. All right, let's go. All right, James Biden gave the Republicans exactly what they were asking for yesterday in his testimony. Many of you, we know what this is about. They invited James Biden, President Joe Biden's brother, to go testify in Congress. All right. And here's where we're at. House Republicans have hit yet another dead end in their Biden impeachment crusade. Perhaps after their biggest witness yet debunked all of their claims in a closed-door testimony. Joe Biden's brother testified yesterday before the House Oversight Committee, whose Republican chairmen have led the charges against his brother. Biden slammed Republicans for accusing the president and his family of influence peddling, accusing the GOP of flat-out lying during their impeachment inquiry. All right? His brother went on to say this: I have had over a 50-year career in a variety of business adventures. Joe Biden has never had any involvement, direct or indirect financial interest in those activities. None. Biden said, I never asked my brother to take any official action on my behalf, me, my business associates, or anyone else. You see this, MAGA? So not only is your star witness, right? Your star witness is a Russian spy. But James Biden, Joe Biden's brother, says, and he's on record saying this, he never did anything with President Biden. Where are you going with this impeachment inquiry now, MAGA? And I tell you, I know exactly where you're going. You're going nowhere. So guess what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen? Join me in giving Donald Trump and his supporters what they deserve. Another round of booze and shame. They thought they had President Biden once again, and they don't got him. Let's go. Silence, you MAGA demon. See, what we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen, is we're debunking all of the lies and misinformation that is circulating out there about President Biden, and pointing out to you that really it's the Republicans out there that you got to pay attention to. All right, got some more bad news for you. All right, this is where we're at. Critics slam Alabama court ruling that frozen embryos are children. I don't know if you all have been following this, all right? But here we are. An Alabama Supreme Court ruling that frozen embryos outside the womb are children has drawn criticism from the White House and the top U.S. Infertility Association, which called the decision a terrifying development. Yeah. All across the country, women are being forced to grapple with the devastating consequences of action by Republican elected officials, from undermining access to reproductive care and emergency care to threatening access to contraception. The National Infertility Association said the Alabama ruling could have devastating consequences for fertility clinics in the southern states that offer in vitro fertilization. Alabama Supreme Court ruling is a terrifying development for the 1 in 6 people impacted by infertility who need in vitro fertilization to build their families. Wow. You see what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, they're attacking women and their reproductive rights, right? Their freedom, right? So guess what we're going to do? You know what? I'm going to move on to this part. So that snowballed into this now. No one wants to talk about it. And they're saying that the GOP is choosing to remain silent on this matter. When the Alabama Supreme Court last week declared frozen embryos to be children, it immediately jeopardized the use of in vitro fertilization, right? In fact, Alabama's largest hospital stopped IVF treatment just one day after the ruling for fear of being sued for disposing of unused frozen embryos. We reached out to the GOP congressional campaign committees yesterday to ask about the ruling and found that no one wanted to talk about this, underscoring that Republicans are still struggling with this matter. What's more, they write that one of the few Republicans who would speak out about this ruling came off as a bit defensive and immediately tried to turn the topic to undocumented immigrants. Stepping back to look at the broader context, the report notes that only a fringe minority of American evangelicals believe that IVF is murder, although that fringe is massively influential over the Republican parties. So guess what we have, ladies and gentlemen? More proof that the Republican Party, they're disconnected from the vast majority of Americans, especially women, and now they have egg on their face and they have nothing else to do but to wear it. Join me once again, in giving them what they truly deserve. Another round of booze and shame. They don't like it when you get out here and tell the truth. They don't like it when you get out here and tell the truth and shame the devil. But guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure we do that, ladies and gentlemen, because guess what? Democracy is truly, truly on the line. All right? Now, let's move on to another topic. All right. We got a couple of more topics, and then we got to get up out of here. I know. I want to do this one. They call me the love guru for a reason, but I'm gonna come back to that. Let's come back to the love guru real quick. But I just want to point this out, ladies and gentlemen. California lawmakers say that reparation bill, which excluded widespread payments, are still a starting point. I know a lot of folks on the right don't believe that black folks in this country deserve reparations, but I'm one of those who believe that we do now. This is a starting point, and it's not the end, but I just want to make sure you know the conversation is still going. Black lawmakers in California on Wednesday introduced a package of reparations legislation, calling it a starting point to atone for the state's legacy of discrimination. The California Legislative Black Caucus introduced the package of more than a dozen proposals months after the First Nation Reparations Task Force sent a report. 2 years in the making, the lawmakers recommending how states should apologize and offer redress to black Californians. The package does not include widespread direct cash payments to black families, but here's what it does include. California American Freedmen Affairs Agency, all right? And this agency would create an agency known as the California American Freedmen Affairs Agency to administer reparations program to help black families research their family lineage. Another one is affirmative action. California voters passed an initiative in 1996 to ban the consideration of race, color, sex, and nationality in the public employment, education, and contracting decisions. Voters again decided to uphold that law in 2020. All right. Compensation for the land that was taken, a formal apology, and banning forced prison labor. All right. So guess what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen? Normally we give booze and shame, but you know what this time we're going to do? Let's go ahead and give California and the Democrats a round of applause, because we're not intimidated by these folks. All right, let's give them a round of applause. And I am a firm believer that we do need those direct payments, right? We do need those direct payments, because you gotta pay up. All right, we know that you made a lot of money off of the backs of slaves in this country, and to sit here and say otherwise would be a disgrace and flat out disrespect to this nation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. Let's get into some love guru. All right, I didn't want to do it, but I'm going to have to cover this story, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have to cover the story. All right, should we talk about it? All right, let's talk about it. Now, this is a bit of a long story. I can't go all the way into it, but I will say it's an example of why it's very important for Zeus to be out here on social media spreading the truth and awareness. All right. I told my Trump supporting mom that I'm having a biracial baby, and here is what happened. In the volatile era of Donald Trump and the transparency created by the digital age, a lot of us find ourselves on different sides of the social and political issues that with some of the people we love. See, this gentleman grew up in Eastern North Carolina among conservative family members. But as a filmmaker, most of his colleagues were liberal artists. So he has friends and family on both sides. And at best, I've seen numerous friends have to unfollow their family members on social media because they couldn't stand reading their political posts or comments. And at worst, they stopped talking to them altogether. I couldn't have that happen in my family, but I was in my first interracial relationship and my mom was struggling to accept it. Let's look at this gentleman. Look at him. All right. You know what that is, right? That's some jungle fever for your behind, right? That's some jungle fever. I know J Bear wishes, but it ain't happening, J Bear. It ain't happening. But Listen to this story. You might find love, but you got to repent, all right? Race was never an issue for Maya and me, but she did have to educate me on what life as a black woman was like. This ranged from explaining black hair culture to being the only person of color in a field dominated predominantly by white men. She was everything I ever wanted in a woman. And he's describing a black woman. Smart, gorgeous, kind, fun, and most importantly, for me, she was calm. She was the ice to my fire, the change and changed me for the better as a person. She was definitely the kind of girl that you bring home to meet your mother. This man fell in love with this sister. You see how this works? Before my mom came up to visit, my brother suggested that I might want to tell her that Maya was black. He thought she might have a problem with it. I thought he was overreacting. It turns out he was right. My mom wasn't rude when she met Maya, but she wasn't her normal sweet self either. I could tell the difference, but Maya had never met her, so she couldn't. Thankfully, we were at an event I was hosting, and Maya and I were too preoccupied to get past formalities with my mom. All right? Regardless, the next morning I woke up to have coffee with my mom and knew this would be a topic for discussion. She explained that she knew we lived in different lives. For example, she is a Trump supporter and that I have friends from many different backgrounds and cultures, but this was something new for her and she wasn't prepared for it. She did agree that Maya was a great girl, but that only confused me more. It hurt me that I had to even have this conversation with her. When I asked her exactly what the issue was, she simply replied, "We just didn't do that in my day." We just didn't do that in my day. I told her I understood it was different for her, but I didn't come from her generation and that wasn't relevant to how I chose to live my life. I ended the conversation by telling her that I loved her, but that she didn't raise me to act like that. And those words did hit hard. Now, I'll be honest with you. If you read and follow this story, the gentleman's mom eventually learns how to deal with this relationship, right? So, in the best interest of time, we can't go that deep, but I will say this. You know what? Maya, all right? Maya and your man, I want to say this. You all deserve a round of applause. Right? This gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, took it upon himself to bring a sister into his household, knowing the MAGA demon was there. This is a good thing. This tells me that our words, our messaging is connecting the dots out there. You're right, Trash Bait. I am the love guru. Whatever I did to possibly help make this happen, I'm totally proud of it. I gave myself a pat on the back yesterday, honestly. And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give these Trump supporters what they deserve, because what the devil meant for evil, God clearly has turned it into good, right? And now the egg is still on their face. I love the fact, I really do, I love it, that his mom had to let go of that MAGA demon in order to maintain a healthy relationship with her son, right? So let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Join me in giving the MAGA demon what it deserves. Another round of booze and shame. Can't stop love. You can't stop love, all right? That's one thing the MAGA demon ain't prepared for, all right? It wasn't prepared for it, but guess what? It's happening, all right? And congratulations, y'all, and welcome. Hopefully you have a nice, big, happy family, all right? Now let's get back to some MAGA business before we get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is the part, okay? One last talking point, and then we'll get into my favorite topic, January 6th, and then we'll open up those boxes. Oh, crap. Nikki Haley has bashed Donald Trump on Russia as she seeks to gain ground in the GOP primary, right? And we know what this is about. South Carolina. Nikki Haley has found her closing message in South Carolina to be Russia, Russia, Russia. You know, isn't it interesting that ever since Donald Trump came down that golden escalator, that we can't stop bringing up Russia? Isn't that interesting? You Trump supporters, you traitors, do you understand what's going on? Everywhere he goes, Russia seems to be the subject. And even Nikki Haley knows it. Even Nikki Haley knows it. In interviews on social media and on Stump, the former UN ambassador has repeatedly seized on the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny to launch a fusillade against former President Donald Trump. Haley jabbed Trump for taking three days to acknowledge Navalny's death and then failing to condemn Russian President Vladimir Putin for it. She cast her former boss as weak in the knees, right? He's weak in the knees. When it comes to Russia, she slammed him for criticizing NATO at a time when many in the West sees Russia's invasion of Ukraine as a threat to European stability. And at a Wednesday afternoon rally in Georgia, Haley unleashed some of her most pointed criticism yet of Trump's relationship with Putin. Quote, Trump is siding with a dictator who kills his political opponents. Wow, this is what Trump does. Haley said Trump sided with an evil man over allies who stood with us on 9/11. Wow. Think about what that told them. Haley is turning Russia and Putin specifically into a cudgel at a crucial moment in the Republican presidential primary. She's running far behind Trump, and the former South Carolina governor is poised to get blown out in her home state's primary on Saturday. Her focus on Russia, in addition to providing a new line of attack on Trump, has created a platform for the UN ambassador to again flex the foreign policy chops that she has long invoked as a way to stand out in the race. And she has used it to help boost her rationale for staying in the race. Earlier this week, while insisting that she will not drop out of the primary, Haley said, people have a right to have their voices heard, and they deserve a real choice, not a Soviet-style election where there's only one candidate and he gets 99% of the vote. As much as I do not like Nikki Haley, I must admit, she seems to get it. Clearly, she understands how democracy works, and clearly, she's trying to still be a patriot, right? Thank you, Queen Fleet, for the subscription. Unlike the MAGA demons that are currently in Congress that are not just racist, but traitors, right? So guess what we're going to do? Since Nikki Haley has, number one, thank you, Nikki Haley, for pointing out that you are aware Donald Trump is a traitor. All right. I agree with you on that. But I don't quite agree with the fact that you still to this day are out here saying that you would give this guy a pardon if you were president, right? I don't agree with that about you, as well as some other things. But for the sake of this show, we must go ahead and do it. Join me in giving Donald Trump, the Russian operative he is, what he rightfully deserves, right? Another round of booze and shame.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're concluding to the first part of the show. But before we do, you know what we got to do? We got to cover another story about you know who, the traitors in the midst, right? Once again, we have another one of Trump's soldiers who has had a run-in with the law and has now been arrested. All right, if you don't like this part of the show, you know what to do. Leave, come back later when I open up the boxes, but we're going to get into this. Well, you all know what I've been saying. Donald Trump, these Trump supporters out here, They've been begging us for a civil war. You hear this civil war talk, right? Zeus, there's going to be a civil war. And it took me a while to wrap my mind around it. But you know what? I'm starting to take them at their word on this one. This is one of the rare times. Donald Trump supporters are the modern day Confederate soldiers. And Donald Trump is the modern day Jefferson Davis, right? All right, the leader of the Confederates. All right, Donald Trump has a compound, and it's called Mar-a-Lago, where he resides and leads his troops on the various missions that are tasked to them in order to try to overthrow this country, right? Overthrow democracy. So if you can, please come here with me. All right, you got to understand what happened on January 6th was Donald Trump leading his troops to battle in Washington, D.C. to try to overthrow this country, right? And so I'll tell you how it started. It started, first of all, like this. Right! Attention! This is what Donald Trump did. All soldiers, all MAGA demons, I need you to follow my next directive. What is that? This is what they said. Be at the Capitol on January 6th at a Stop the Steal rally. Be there. It's going to be wild. That's what he said on his social media platform. But behind the scenes, he was coordinating with some nasty individuals, the Patriot Boys, right? The Proud Boys, the Patriot Front, the Proud Boys, the Boogaloo Boys. You name them, they were there. They jumped in the back of U-Hauls with some khaki pants on. They put on masks, all right? These are Donald Trump's soldiers. They jumped in the back of these U-Hauls, and it was during the pandemic. They put on masks, even though they protested out in public. We don't want to wear those masks. Those masks make it hard to breathe. For Donald Trump, they masked up. And they all converged on the United States Capitol on January 6th. This is what his soldiers did to meet him at the ellipse. All right? Come to the ellipse where I will give you your next orders. Right? And so what did he do? He went and gave them their orders.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down. Anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Right. So his soldiers, they got their marching orders. Go to the Capitol, take the weapons, take the mace, do whatever you got to do to stop the certification of Joe Biden, all right? And they followed his orders. They marched to the Capitol. He said he was going to be there, but he didn't. He went back to the White House and watched it all play out. Now, when his soldiers got there was a scene there that took place, and I'm going to always bring this up. They saw Ray Epps, another supporter, another soldier, telling them to go inside. They said, no, Ray Epps, we're not going inside, number one, because you're not the leader. Number two, you are feds. And they started chanting feds, right? Feds, feds, feds. So then I said, now that's perplexing. If you believe the police are there, why are you going to still break the law? Right? Why? If you thought he was the feds, that means you knew the cops was there. Why did you decide to break the law? But you never mind that. I understand you have the MAGA demon. So they begin to assault the Capitol. They attacked law enforcement. They breached the Capitol. They broke windows. They did millions and millions of dollars worth of damage. All right? So now that we are officially at the crime scene, let's talk about one of these so-called MAGA demon soldiers, right? Tom Rivers. This man faces January 6 charges, and he wore the name on his clothes, he wore the name and phone number on his jacket And this, ladies and gentlemen, led to his arrest. An accused January 6th participant made it easy for the feds to make him for breaching the Capitol building by being recorded wearing a jacket with his surname and concrete company phone number emblazoned on it. Robert Capitelli, who hails from Tom River, New Jersey, faces 4 misdemeanor counts for unlawfully entering the Capitol through the Senate wing door and pacing through the crypt for about 15 minutes before exiting through a broken window back on January 6, 2021, where barricaded police had set up a front to keep protesters away. A tipster reached out to authorities naming Copatelli 27 as being engaged with thousands of other Trump supporters who stormed the Capitol in an effort to thwart Congress certification of the presidential election of President Joe Biden. In the photograph, the individual is visible wearing a jacket featuring the text Copatelli, and then you want to see his phone number, ladies and gentlemen? Look at it. He put his phone number on his jacket. According to the charging documents, the investigator writes in the paper that Copatelli was found to be a heavy equipment sales and service Inc. based in Toms River, New Jersey. The company's logo matches the text and artwork shown on the back of the suspect's jacket. The company bills itself on social media as performing masonry work. When reached by inquiries, they refused to provide a comment. Copatelli was arrested and charged in Washington, D.C. You see, ladies and gentlemen, these folks aren't that smart, right? They do these crimes and then they tell on themselves, here, it's me, I'm breaking the law, come get me. And then they ask them, how did they find me? It's because you're not that intelligent, you MAGA demons, right? So guess what we're going to do? Because we have another J6er that has pretty much bit the dust. Join me in giving this deranged lunatic who puts his phone number and his name on jackets when he goes and commits these crimes for Donald Trump, because he thought he was a soldier, right? He didn't have the actual MAGA demon patch, so he decided to give himself one. What he deserves, another round of booze and shame.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right. And since he's been convicted, you know what we got to do? Let's send him off the old-fashioned way.
I'd like to begin by addressing the heinous attack on the United States Capitol. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders. America is and must always be a nation of law and order. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engage in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
You hear that? You hear that? You will pay. Just think about this, ladies and gentlemen. These folks listen to a guy that puts a bird's nest on his head, paints himself orange, puts on a diaper, and gets onto his social media platform and gives these folks their next orders. You guys are despicable. You're disgusting. And you're deranged. All right. Let's open up these boxes and hear from those of you who are brave enough to get in the box and tell the truth. You know what we do. We got 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. We're on a bit of a time crunch this morning, all right? So please bear with me, all right? I'm going to open up these boxes, and then let's see. Okay, the box is now open. All righty then, all right. All right, good, all right. I'm going to bring you up, Shay. Out real quick, all right? Shay, are you there, Shay?
I am. Well,
All
good
right.
morning. You pulled me up first. Wow.
Yep. Carry the show. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing in the kingdom? Hello. Some interesting stuff. That was a great show, by the way. Hey, Maureen. Hey, everybody. What was this thing that I found? Did y'all see? This was hilarious. It was first of all, I love how Marjorie Taylor Greene in her tweet about Judge Engeron, where she basically went in and said that he needed to be disrobed. I was like, this girl cannot speak English to save her life. I think she meant disbarred or derobed. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was funny. Okay, here's what I wanted to. Did y'all see? Where is that? This was pretty funny. Actually, it's not funny. It's actually kind of scary. You know, the thing about Trump is that he is absolutely saying the quiet part out loud. I don't know if y'all saw this. Oh, yeah. First of all, I'd love to talk about the fact that the impeachment of Joe Biden has absolutely fallen apart, right? I love this. They come to find out that the one guy they've got all this information from, right? The money to the big guy, the 10 million to the big guy, completely fell apart with Smirnoff. And then come to find out that it was Russian disinformation that he got all that from. So I'm wondering, there's some calls for Comer to be removed because he has absolutely been using Russian disinformation to impeach the president of the United States. I mean, it's pretty nasty stuff, guys. So I would love. I've also noticed. Have you noticed this, Suze? Have you noticed that our friends on the right no longer talk about impeaching Joe Biden?
I've noticed it.
Have
And why
you noticed that? Yeah.
Because they know that they're guilty. They are openly peddling Russian information. Isn't it funny? We've been calling them Russian bears.
Yes, we have. I wonder why. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
We've been telling them this stuff for the last several years, that even in 2016, there was like Russia, and all of this stuff. It's like, yeah, because our intelligence and everything, they have been saying there has been this mass propaganda that has been pushed through social media for Russian disinformation. They want Trump in office. And it's clear as to why they want Trump in office. When he talks about Putin, when he talks about Ukraine, when he talks about dismantling NATO, they want him in power. He is their agent. And it's true.
Yep.
So you see what's happening with, first of all, it started off with, God, my brain needs to click in. But now it's Comer and Jordan has been, it was Rudy Giuliani at first. So they were using Rudy Giuliani at first, right? Well, then that all fell apart because he's an idiot. And then now they're using Comer and Jordan as the agents of this, pushing this impeachment and Russian disinformation. And now that's fallen apart. So who's going to be their next agent, I wonder?
Well, you know what? I'm hoping that we just get past that and we get straight to prosecuting these folks. Because I don't understand how you can openly engage in election interference, right? By peddling these lies. These lies are coming straight from Russia.
Yep. Exactly.
And they don't have any shame about doing it.
But yet they keep saying, you didn't prove any Russian collusion. You never did anything. The Mueller report. And it's like, no, it's all in there. It's in there clearly that there was, help with the Russians. The Russians were involved 100%. What they could not prove is that Trump himself knew about the collusion. They could not put that to paper. But what Mueller did say is that he said, listen, because he's a sitting president, I'm not going to go after him, but I am giving it to Congress to do it.
Bingo.
And so at that point, the Democrats didn't want to pick that up. So a lot of people think that his first impeachment was on Russian collusion. It wasn't. That was on the call to Zelensky, the Ukrainian phone call.
Yeah.
So they said, well, we're not going to waste a lot more time if we can't prove, because Trump doesn't email, right? He doesn't text. So there couldn't be this direct line to actually Trump. So they couldn't go that far into it. But the Mueller report says there's absolutely collusion with his campaign staff and other things like that. But they couldn't tie it to the big guy. But I wanted to play this. I thought that was really interesting about Trump, where he just admits that he is going to help with powerful crime when he takes back over, if he takes back over.
Really?
But I would play this for a second. Let's see if I can.
Very powerful crime, and you're going to be proud of it. Again, we're going to take. No, we're going to take over Washington, D.C. We're going to federalize. We're going to have very powerful crime. Proud of it again. We're going to take. No, we're going to take over Washington, D.C. We're going to federalize. We're going to have very powerful crime, and you're going to be proud of it again. We're going to take. No, we're going to take over Washington, D.C.
There it is. Wow. We're going to take over Washington, D.C., and we're going to have very powerful crime.
Wow.
It's like, what in the world? Anyway, my friend, I heard my bell, but I mean.
Thank you, Shay.
Guys, you've got to move away from Trump. You're not going to win. I mean, the Quinnipiac poll has come back up and said that Biden is stomping Trump. You need to understand that the tides are absolutely turning, and then we're going to get into March. He's going to have the first federal, criminal prosecution.
Yeah.
Criminal conviction is going to happen in probably by mid-April. So
I agree.
You guys got to move on. If you pick Nikki Haley, and I listen, I could care less for her, but that's your only chance of beating Biden. Y'all need to wake up.
Yep.
Yeah.
No lies detected. No lies detected. All right, Shay. Thank you. Thank you for co-hosting.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, my friend. That was fun. All right. Love you guys.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to the beautiful Shay. One of the bad mamma jammers in the kingdom.
Look at her. She's a bad mamma jamma.
No lies detected. You know what we're doing over here, ladies and gentlemen? We're telling the truth and we're shaming the devil. You know, it's quite interesting, to be honest, that we are at this crossroad where we know that the Republicans are simply spreading lies. They're spreading lies out here that are coming directly from Russia, and they've been radio silent about it. Good morning, Attacking. How are you doing, my brother?
Well, I'm gonna show some pictures and talk.
Talk about it. Let's go. This is a bad boy in the kingdom. Attacking isn't spreading lies. None of these people that have came up are spreading lies. This is all facts. Rodster, you better listen up.
Here you go. You have Lev Parnas, who is part of the Ukraine go get dirt on Joe Biden part with Rudy Giuliani. Donald Trump went to Zelensky, went to Ukraine, found no information. The Republican Party will not talk to him because he knows nothing happened with Burisma, Ukraine, and the Bidens. They won't talk to him. He's already been charged. He's been convicted. He's a 2-year conviction. That's one. You have Devin Archer. Devin Archer sat for a five and a half hour conversation with them up until the transcripts came up. They said that he told them a whole bunch of stuff, which he did not. Transcript comes out and shows that he told the exact truth. Joe Biden never received $5 million. There was no criminal activity. The only people who liked the prosecutor general was Burisma because they weren't investigating him. They lied about that for 2 days until the transcripts came out. You had the Mueller report, like Shay said. The Mueller report in the 2016 RNC convention, they were talking to turn over the eastern part of Ukraine to Russia.
Wow.
It's in the report. Wow. You now have this whistleblower who lied about the report. Here's another thing.
Get him, Attacking. No lies detected. Right, Ange?
I don't understand why you guys don't read that 300-page report done under Trump's DOJ, investigating Trump's phone call, Ukraine, Burisma, Hunter Biden, and Joe Biden, and their own investigation said Joe Biden didn't do anything criminal. And the European countries and the MIF wanted that prosecutor removed. Now you have this whistleblower being arrested, being charged, and saying that he lied to the Republicans. You have James Comer every time he's on a news show. Well, we think we have something, but they've never shown anything. No documents, no transcripts. Joe Biden's brother sat for a 7-hour conversation. Same thing. The $200,000 check, Joe Biden loaned me because I was having money issues. They
Tell them
got
attacking.
nothing, they got nothing with Hunter Biden, or now they're going to have Hunter Biden in February 28th or something like that. Joe Biden's brother, no information. Devin Archer, no information. Lev Pardis, they won't talk to. How much of no information do you guys need to have to start stopping to believe this crap that the Republicans are showing you? You had James Comer on Fox News being called out by James Ducey. Well, you have a lot of information here, but the one name you don't have on any of these documents is Joe Biden. How much more of this stuff do you Republicans, you Trump lovers, have to just ignore that the Republican Party is playing you for a fool? You have nothing. There is nothing. They're doing to Joe Biden what they tried to do with Hillary Clinton with Benghazi.
Attacking. Someone says, so you're saying they have lies to account for all the millions of dollars that they got, that they somehow got. What do you have to say about that?
Show me the documentation that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden received.
Let's do it.
By the way, the Moscow mayor's wife never sent Hunter Biden any money. Burisma never sent Joe Biden any money. China never sent Joe Biden any money. Where's the proof that you make this comment? That's why nobody ever comes up into my broadcast, because they say it in the chat, but they won't come up and talk with their big voices. You have.
If anybody out there, listen up. We're serious today. If you got evidence to prove that Biden got this money, please send us a guest request, and we will hear this out. Don't come in huffing and puffing. Just show it.
Educate us.
Show it. But if you cannot produce the evidence, do me a favor and sit your special behind down and listen to this special broadcast. Seriously.
What does it take for you guys to realize nothing that Trump has ever said, nothing that the Republicans ever said, have they provided you one document to read, hold in your hand, touch, taste, smell? They've never provided you any information. It's headlines. You guys are reading the headlines. So why are you guys continue to do this? You're creating this chaos because you're believing whatever they tell you without doing any investigation. You know what? It's kind of like, yeah, I had a steak last night, a big, thick, 2.5 inch. It was great, fantastic.
Yeah,
it was a piece of poisoned liver.
Nasty.
Because that's what Trump is selling you, poisoned liver, and you guys are running with it. I'll drop and let somebody else come up. Thanks for letting me on, buddy.
You're welcome. No problem, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up to Brother Attacking. No lies detected. One of the bad boys. One of the bad boys in the kingdom. Yeah. Bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? You know, it's interesting that you brought that concept up. You know what they say? They say rat poison is 1% poison and 99% food. It doesn't take much to get you, right? And that's indicative of what the MAGA Republican Party is dealing with right now. All Putin did, he just gave you a little drop of that rat poison, and then he made it all look like it was real delicious, and you bit it, and now you're sick in your stomachs right now. You guys ought to be ashamed of yourself, especially you so-called Christians out there. I don't trust none of you. Anytime they say something to me, I just immediately assume they are peddling information Vladimir Putin told them to, right? Good morning, Nutty. How are you doing? Long time no see, my friend. Are you there, Nutty? You must be real busy these days because I haven't seen you in like a week or two. I mean, are you there, Nutty? Jesus Christ, you must be on the MAGA Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I know. How's everything going, sir?
Oh, okay. I'm on haven't seen you in a while. I mean, is everything okay? You seem like you're still grieving, perhaps, about the Lions. Is that what it is? Nutty, are you there? Oh! Oh! Too soon! Too soon! Maybe it's my handsomeness. You know, Nutty is one of these guys out here that he's very insecure about my handsomeness. So I get it. I get it. I'd stay away too now that I think about it. I'd stay away.
The devil is a lie.
Oh!
What's
Oh
going
my!
on, sir? How are
Hey,
you?
I'm all right. I'm glad you're okay, man.
Hey, so I have a question for you.
Speak on it. Let's
Now,
go.
this is a serious question, so I really need you to focus and answer this question.
Okay, I'll try my best.
What about the 1023?
I can't wait. You went out. What happened?
What about the 1023?
Oh, the FD 1023. That was
Isn't
that
that
was the that's what Rudy
isn't that what
Giuliani
we
was saying about, right?
Yeah. Isn't that what the right kept saying? Oh, they need to go read the FD 23. Isn't that what Snuggles and all of the maggots and Russian bears? Isn't that what they spouse every single day, 24
Eh,
hours a day, 7 days
yep.
a week? What about the
Yep.
FD 1023?
You know what we got to do with that? We're going to put that with the 22-380 nonsense, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
These
And you
folks.
notice the central theme behind that, Zeus.
What's that?
It's one word. It's one word.
What's that?
What about? What about? What about? What about?
Mm,
What about?
mm.
That's all they have in their arsenal. Is what about?
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that
it.
interesting? Isn't that interesting? It seems like the walls are starting to close in on them, Nutty, because they like Shay pointed out, they're nowhere to be found when it comes to this misinformation, this Russian misinformation stuff. They don't want to talk about this.
All I gotta say to them is silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. And they are showing. They are showing how their level of understanding and intelligence is just not up to par. They
It
shouldn't
really
be in
isn't.
the they shouldn't be in these boxes trying to speak on politics when they need to be sitting. I'm going to take a quote from you. You need to sit your tail down and learn from this special broadcast. You just need to sit, listen, and learn.
Please, MAGA. You're not because honestly, Nutty, are they educating? Are they educating any of us?
They are. They are.
Oh,
What they're educating us in is how education is fundamental and reading is truly fundamental.
I can deal with that. But are they actually bringing you new things that you didn't know, like teaching you about how government works? Or are they bringing you facts about how democracy works or anything like that?
No, but what they are teaching me, they're
I
teaching
get
me, they're teaching me that when I go into the classroom
yeah,
and I have all these bright minds sitting in front of me,
yeah.
that I have to work even harder to make sure that those students who are sitting in front of me don't come out like them
Right?
because they are dangerous to democracy itself because they seem to ignore
Tell
they'll,
them.
they'll ignore every single fact that's out there now that Parnas has been arrested by the same special prosecutor who was on the Hunter Biden case, who was appointed by Trump's DOJ. Now that he's been arrested, they're chirping. I listened to James Comer. I listened to Mr. Jim Jordan, and all he was saying is, "Well, we're still going to continue because And then he couldn't answer the question. I'm like, you know what? Finish your statement. You know what?
Yeah,
But one
yeah.
more question before I go. One more
Go
question.
ahead. Go ahead, Nutty.
Where is
Go
this?
ahead and get.
Where is this $5 million that supposedly entered up into Joe Biden's and Hunter Biden's bank account? But yet they want to bring up the 5 million, but they never talk about the 2 billion that we know that Trump's son-in-law got.
Jared Kushner.
They never talk
Yeah.
about the 160 patents from China that Ivanka got.
Is that okay, Doozy? Is that okay, Doozy? Is that okay, conservative Democrat? And don't use the line, oh, we know because Trump's a businessman that it's okay. Don't use that line.
And the thing is that Hunter Biden has never sat in our government. These two have.
Yep.
These two were on the payroll of the United States of America. Hunter Biden hasn't even been elected to a dog catcher.
Right.
So I could give a rat's you know what about Hunter Biden.
Right.
So
No
start
evidence.
talking to me about Hunter Biden and start talking to me about the criminals you're simping for.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thank you
That's
so
where I'm at right now. All right. Well, listen, Nutty. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up to our good friend, Nutty Professor. One of the bad boys in the kingdom. Thank you, Nutty. Pleasure to check in with you. You see what we got going on this morning, ladies and gentlemen? It's a show of force, right? It's a show of force. Every morning we get up and we religiously bring out the facts, the data, and the statistics to help illustrate how unhinged and radicalized the MAGA Republican Party has become. It's a crying shame that we're at a point in American history when you can be worse than a racist because you can be MAGA. Well, what do you mean? Like Biden said, now these folks, they've said it's not enough to be racist. Let's be racist and traitors. And this is, to me, ladies and gentlemen, calls for alarm. Double D, I'm pretty sure you think it is funny that you're both racist and a traitor. I bet you think that's funny that you somehow figured out how to be that. Double toxic.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
Good morning. I'm all right, brother Swerve. How are you doing, my good friend?
I'm feeling good, Zeus. I'm standing up straight because I drank all my V8.
Hey.
I said,
go ahead.
The maggots in their face.
Yeah, tell them.
Now, what's going on here? Because I saw some of the interviews. You know, Monteraju, Jim Jordan, hey, what are you going to do now that your whole impeachment case is falling apart? Oh, well, we can ignore the stuff that are the lies. Go on with everything else. I'm like, well, that's all he told you.
Yeah.
Was the lies. We still ain't found none of this money. We said, but they want to move forward with the impeachment, and there still ain't no solid evidence that they have to link Joe Biden directly to anything with any of his family's business dealings. So MAGA, Zeus, let me talk to MAGA for a second.
Go ahead.
Hold
Good morning.
on.
He said. Go ahead.
Let me do this so they know how serious I am. I hate when my fingers don't work like they should. There we go.
Oh, we getting all in there, grill.
So, yeah, even with my new hat.
Oh my God, I like that. Is that Zeus on the hat right there?
No, man, that says shellbacks crossing the line.
Oh, okay. Listen,
I'm a Navy shellback.
See, I learned something. All right, continue. It looks like Zeus from over here. I'm just being honest with you.
No, it's all good. It's all good, brother. You know that. So,
Yes, sir.
MAGA, let me talk at you for a minute, MAGA. What's wrong with y'all? And I mean that with all sincerity. Every time one of these cases against Joe Biden falls apart, y'all are all up in there. Well, they should do this. They should do this. They should do this. But one delay comes up with a Donald Trump case, and y'all sitting there going, "Oh, it fell apart. The cases fell apart. They throwing it out. They gonna throw this out. They ain't throwing out nothing. They just ain't throwing out nothing. And I don't know why y'all can't get that through your heads. The only thing that MAGA has taught me is how the education system in this country is a complete and total failure for some people.
Wow.
And it failed them miserably. The what is it? Conservative Democrat and some of the other people that are down in the chat.
Yep.
Babe, conservative Democrat. These people don't follow politics. They don't know nothing about politics. You know what they want, Zeus? I figured it out. You know what they want?
What's
attention. Attention. They just want some attention. They want somebody to pay attention to it because, I don't know, maybe they didn't get hugged enough as a child. But they know nothing of politics. If they knew something of politics, they would answer a question. I can answer any question I'm asked, whether I know it or not. If I don't know, you know what? I don't know nothing about it.
Yep.
And you would do the same.
Absolutely.
And now we're sitting here We're sitting here. This case, this impeachment against Joe Biden has completely fell apart. You know who Ken Buck is?
Yes, sir.
Ken Buck was on TV, I believe, last night or night before last,
Yeah.
saying that basically you had two senators, James Comer and Jim Jordan, who were feeding Russian disinformation to the American people. And that's exactly what they were doing, because they never vetted their source. They knew he was a confidential informant for the FBI for like 10 years, but it didn't require the FBI he given them credible evidence to
Right.
bring cases.
Tell us where
Everything just fell apart. And when Ken Buck said Jim Jordan and James Comer have been feeding Russian disinformation to the American public, traitor. They should be removed from their chairs right now,
Yeah.
in my mind. And I don't care who says what. But you know what? It probably won't happen because Mike Johnson won't bring that bill to the floor. So,
Yeah.
anywho, brother, I heard my bell. I love
Wow.
you, my friend.
Love you too,
Thank
bro.
you to the kingdom.
All right. All right.
Love all y'all. Be good, be safe, and doggone it, have fun while you're doing it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up.
Please don't forget about Jack Smith.
Jack Smith is definitely going to get him. Thank you, Brother Swerve. One of the bad boys in the kingdom, ladies and gentlemen. You know him when you see him.
Go to school and learn the golden rule. So why are you acting like a bloody fool?
If you get hot, then you must get clear. You see this MAGA? It's a show of force. You know, like we're really at a point now where nothing you say carries any weight at this point. You understand? This is why I've been telling you, Trump supporters, just shut down this app. All right? You're no good. You're no good. Don't turn. Listen, if I were a Trump supporter, I would be ashamed. And this is probably why most of them don't turn on their cameras and get out here and put their face behind the stuff they're saying. I would be ashamed to go live and argue with anybody about what's going on at this point, because you've been wrong so much. So much. How can you say Zeus is wrong when you're in a position of having to defend a man that has 91 felony charges and is shelling out millions and millions of dollars for fraud, all right, and lawsuits? Where is your standing in all of this? I'm having a hard time seeing it. I really am. How can you really argue a point when all the people, most of the people who went to the Capitol on January 6th are being sentenced and convicted and sentenced? Where do you have standing in this? I really am having a hard time. That's like your favorite team losing the game and you running around here still saying you're winners. Do you understand how this works? Oh my God, you can't make this stuff up, folks. You really can't. All right. Oh my goodness, my partner in crime, the beautiful Miss Boss B. Good morning,
Good morning, my partner in crime.
Yeah, good morning.
Hey,
How are you?
It's the Zeus show. Oh,
Yes.
I'm doing good. I'm feeling
right.
absolutely wonderful.
I
How about
love
you?
it. I can hear it. I'm feeling good. All right. Doing
As
all
you
right.
should.
Hey,
you know,
man.
Hey, I was wondering, you remember about the prize money that Pillow Man had put up?
Mike Lindell.
Yeah, he said that he would give somebody $5 million if they can, debunk him or whatever.
Yeah.
So looks like the court, because they had to take that to court. The cybersecurity guy that that won the money, he took him to court, and the court upholded the ruling that Mike Lindell has to pay that expert.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
As he should.
As he should.
That goes out to any of you liars out here betting on TikTok. Let that be a lesson to you. It's wrong to bet against the truth.
Exactly. And so I'm happy for him on that one. So
me too.
Him and Trump will be, pushing carts down the street and gathering belongings of somebody else that threw him away or whatever. He'll be on Skid Row right along with him. So I thought maybe I can bring that up because that was some years ago, right?
Yeah, it take them a long time to pay that money, right? They all let's bet. But when it's time to pay up, it take them a long time to do it. Ain't that something?
Yeah, it's really interesting how he couldn't put his money where his mouth was, right? 'Cause now,
Right.
I mean, I'm sure that he's filing bankruptcy as well, with Rudy, Kaludi, and the rest of them that
Yeah.
was once flying high, and now they have fallen like an anvil to the ground. So
Where they should be. That's where demons belong, on the ground, on the floor, in the pits of hell, as far as I'm concerned. Right?
exactly.
Do you feel bad about telling these Trump supporters the truth? Do you feel bad in any way,
Hell
Miss Scott?
no. Hell no. I have no problems with letting them know what reality is. Now, it takes two to tango, right? So you have
Right.
to be able to accept the truth, and it's amazing how many of those idiots actually still believe that the election was stolen, and they got the same conspiracy theories that's around.
Yep.
I'm like, you guys haven't let that go yet. I mean, Biden's been in office almost 4 years now, working on 4. I
Yep.
mean, come on, man, let's get it
It's
together.
it's like repeating the fourth grade every year, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the point was brought up in Straight Facts Live where
Straight facts.
yeah, the Left Behind, No Child Left Behind
Right.
initiative and all of that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
we've come to the conclusion that Marjorie Three Toes Sporkfoot, she was one that was left behind. So was Bobo the clown. She was left behind. And Comer and the rest of them. All of them must have been left behind.
Wow.
Before the initiative.
Wow. You're right.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild how
Wow.
we have people in government that can barely read, string sentences together, mispronounce words, instead of saying indictment, they say indictment, and
Yep.
things like that. It's
Or the N word, right? Trump called it the N word the
he
other
said
day,
he thought
right?
indictment is spelled with an N. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. How did y'all think that this particular individual can run the country? He can't even read a teleprompter. That's why
Nope.
he always, floats to the left or somewhere else, because he really cannot focus.
Yeah.
He really cannot, which is why he's been on Adderall for, his entire life.
Bingo.
So,
Yep, you spot on about that, Miss Boss Diva.
And
Spot
the
on.
trap house situation, right? You think back on all the times when Trump was in front of the camera, especially during the COVID situation. He was looking pretty. He was looking pretty doped out. If you go back to those videos and watch them,
I'm gonna have to go
focusing
do that.
on his eyes, how they really red and glossy, and pupils are dilating, and all of that stuff. Peep it out the next time you see some old footage of him.
I will, but I'm gonna be honest with you, Miss Boss Diva. I'm gonna be honest. I knew it when he came out and said, how about this? Isn't there a way we can get rid of COVID by, injecting the body with disinfectant, right? And hitting it with the light.
Then you hit it with the light after you hit it with the bleach. And
Oh, I'm
it just
like,
disappeared like the springtime.
It'll be gone by summer. Like that.
That was so wild, man. That he is such an idiot.
And then he argued how it made sense, right? I said, I've known a lot of people in my lifetime. You probably have too. When they on that stuff, they just go.
Dr. Debbie, she wanted to just disappear at that.
And quiet as it is,
disappear. Because I know she was like, "Oh my God, I can't answer that. I'm a doctor. I know better than that. Oh, can I shrink down to a little person and nobody can see me anymore? No.
Yep.
Chick. You are a part of that conspiracy as well, because you could have, just went on out there and said what you had to say about it, told the truth to the American people, and been done with it. But they're so scary, They're so scary. They didn't want to tell the truth. Anyway, I heard my bell, Zeus. Thank you so much for having me up, my brother.
You're welcome.
Love you very much. And I will see you in these TikTok streets, baby.
All right, and keep up the good work you're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to the beautiful Miss Boss Diva. One of the band members. She's a band Hey! Just as fine as she can be. Yeah, quiet as it is kept. I not only know that Donald Trump is definitely on that stuff. I do believe a good deal of his supporters are definitely on it because listen, it take a crook to catch a crook, right? And you know when Trump get on that stuff and he starts sending them those messages, they load up too, and next thing you know, they on the same type of time he is. It doesn't make sense if you are in your right mind, but it makes perfect sense when you're loaded. Whatever they take, all right. So to you Trump supporters, go to your doctors, all right, and tell them whatever they've been giving you, tell them to stop it because it's making you look real crazy out here, all right. And I'm saying that. I'm saying that as someone that's truly concerned about you because think about it. You have this person out here. You know who he is? Snuggles. You ever seen this guy Snuggles? He keeps running around here saying he's winning when he's clearly losing.
Struggle bubbles, struggle pancakes, struggle honey buns, struggle in the weight. Yeah, he's a
Struggler. Hi, Ange. Hello, Ange. How are you doing, my good friend?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. Just another day in the kingdom tending to the affairs. A lot of wild stuff going on out there.
There really is. These streets are crazy. I'm
Yeah.
trying to stick to myself a little bit, just do my own lives. But did you
I
hear?
love it.
Did you hear yesterday? I believe Joe Biden's brother was being questioned with this impeachment inquiry
Yes.
going on.
Yes.
You know, they got nothing there either. Absolutely nothing. And Jamie Raskin, God, I love Jamie Raskin. He said, "For the love of God, would you just put a tent over this damn circus that's been going on? Because that's all it is. It's a dang circus. It's just deflection. It's deflection from the the Orange Jesus' criminal issues with his 91 fel. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
They have nothing. It's just it's over. It's over. Mega. Okay.
It is.
Why don't you now focus on this border that you're constantly talk about? That's all I ever hear in my live and other lives.
Yeah.
Border, border, border. It doesn't matter what the topic is. They just want to talk about the dang border.
Wow. Well, but didn't we give them what's up, Wakanda? Didn't we give them a solution to the border?
Yes. This is where
how
I'm
did that play out?
confused.
Yeah.
I'm Zeus. I'm confused. Can you help me on this? Because man, there is a lot in that package that would help this border significantly. And I want to remind people that that has always been an issue. Okay.
Yeah.
This did not just start under Biden. You know, it really didn't. And they don't understand this. And every time I come back with, well, there's a package on the table here, they don't want to hear it.
Nope.
They go straight to Ukraine. Well, Ukraine is in that package and we don't want to help. Why don't you want to help Ukraine, you friggin' Russian Putin sympathizers?
Amen.
Why don't you want to help Ukraine?
And it was them that made it a situation where we had to negotiate for the aid to go to Ukraine as part of the border package. That was them that asked for that.
Absolutely. It makes no sense, MAGA. I don't know what the heck you're doing, but you're not doing a dang thing for this country. What have you done? You ran on all these things, and you have done nothing since November. We're into February now, people. Where are you helping the American people? The only people is our president. Our president and the Democrats. They're the only ones really fighting for us. You guys are going after Joe Biden for absolutely nothing. You're on a dang revenge tour. That's all this is a dang revenge tour.
Yeah.
And every time they come in our lives, Zeus, and this is what ticks me off. They come in our lives and they come in disingenuous. They never come in good faith. This is why rarely I will go into one of their lives. And I go in, I promise you, Zeus, in good faith, trying to have a conversation. You can't. They just go straight to, the attacks.
It's what I call the sign language. The shame, insult, guilt, need to be right business, right? They have no credibility, right? I mean, imagine these folks are losers on so many levels, right?
They're down in your comment section, right now, just saying nasty things and getting off topic, trying to get us off our message.
Yeah.
Zeus.
No. Someone asked, did you and I talk about this on Discord? The answer
I'm not in a Discord.
Where do they get this stuff from?
I refuse to be in a Discord. I think too much drama goes on in
Yep.
there. Never been in a dang Discord. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that was directed at myself, but
Yeah.
just so you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I don't do that stuff.
We don't have to. We just do our homework. It's simple.
It is. All you got to
If
do is, look at your Google machine, whatever,
you call it,
whatever you got to do. But
yeah, the Google machine.
oh, I'm a socialist apparently. Whatever. I don't give a crap what you call me. I know what I
Yeah.
am. I know what
Yeah.
I am, and
Yeah.
it's a Joe Biden supporter all the way. That's what
Yep.
we need. Those are our choices right now. Him or dictatorship. That's the way I
Bingo.
look at it.
And me too.
That's what
Me
it comes
too,
down to.
Ange.
I
That's what we
want
got.
freedom for us.
Exactly. Exactly. We got these folks out here. They're asking, why should we vote for President Biden? You ever heard this before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And to your point, I think it is pretty much that simple, right? Do we want to be in a country where we have Donald Trump as a dictator or not?
Exactly. And that's what it's coming down to right now, guys. I'm sorry if you're not happy with your choices. I'm sorry if you think Biden is senile or has dementia. First of all, you need to see his medical records. You can't decide that on your own. He has a stutter. I actually have one sometimes too.
Yeah.
For medical purposes.
Well,
these things
if you
happen.
argue in MAGA all day, you might have to start stuttering, right? Because they always interrupt you. I get it.
You do get a little fired up. Those things happen. My daughter came in the other day. She said, "Mom, why are you yelling?" You know why I was yelling? Because
Why?
they have no self-restraint and they can't stop talking.
Bingo.
They can't have
really
discourse and shut their mouths and go back and forth. I'm sorry I had to say it that way, but it's the truth. And I taught for 19 years and I could control a classroom, but I can't control a few MAGA in my,
Yeah.
They don't listen. And I taught middle schoolers and they
Yep.
listened and they don't. And it's very embarrassing for you. I'm sorry, MAGA, but I heard my gal.
All right. Well, listen, it was a pleasure to have you up in the box in the kingdom this morning, as always. All right.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you and I appreciate everybody here in the kingdom.
All right.
I'll see
all
you on
right.
the streets, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up to the beautiful Ange, one of the bad mamma jammas in the kingdom. All right. You know. Thank you. All right. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's Z-Pac. Follow this account so I can go live. All right. All right. Well, I'm following you now, Z-Pac. I'm assuming that other account that you were in you took a hit yesterday arguing with those MAGA demons. Thank you, Moon. Nice to see you. You got to be careful out here when you argue with these Trump supporters because they will try their best to get you to throw away your account on TikTok, trying to convince them of things that they know to be false and untrue. All right, and I'm a trained expert when it comes to dealing with the MAGA demons. That's why they don't like Zeus, because they know I get in there and I don't beat around the bush, so to speak. I get in there and I tell them the truth and tell them to kick rocks. All right. Oh my goodness. Seti said, "Welcome, my brother. How are you doing?"
What's going on? What's going on, my brother? What's going on?
Hey, all right. I'm just another day in the kingdom.
And I tried to come up late yesterday, but you had said it was the last one, and that guy, he glitched out, and then you were going to bring me up, and I was already gone. So no worries, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, my man. I want to give you some propers. You did a really good job with the grandma a couple days ago.
Oh yes, the ex-MAGA granny, right?
Yes, man, that was wonderful. I was on the way to Orlando, and I'm listening to him like, wow. But the thing about that is, when those cage doors close behind you, have a coming to Jesus. And I think that may have happened to her, but I think she realized that, hey, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Do I love my country? And that's it. Absolutely.
Yeah. It was a treat for her to come in here and to really explain the inner workings of what she was dealing with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she could explain it without making excuses.
Yep.
And it was just interesting. None of the Trump supporters that typically come into this live, none of them wanted to confront her and ask her any questions or get clarification about anything. I thought that was pretty interesting.
It really was. And I tell people all the time, I said, that's the problem with Trumpers and Donald Trump. You've got to be able to humble yourself and say, I'm wrong. And that's what they can't do. And that's what was so great about her. She humbled herself. She said, I was wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong in this situation. And if you can do that, then you can lead a country. Dig what I'm saying? When you can say I'm wrong, I made a mistake, then you can lead us. But if you've never made a mistake in your life, someone asked Donald Trump, have you ever asked God for forgiveness? He says, I've never done anything wrong to ask for forgiveness. The man actually said that out of his mouth, guys.
Wow.
So you can't, if you're dealing with that.
Hey, Tony, yeah.
Oh, appreciate you. And
Good job, Tony.
You were talking. Thank you so much. You were talking about the guy that the informant, and that they only wanted to believe the good things about what he said, right? Not the bad things, not the lies, right? Remember, I don't know how old you were in 1994 when O.J. Simpson was on trial, and a man named Mark Furman
I
lied.
remember that.
And he lied and said he never said the N-word, and they came back and said, "Oh, boom, yes, you did." So when someone lies on the stand, you can't believe anything they say. Am I right, brother?
Amen. Absolutely. Their credibility goes down the toilet. You know how we do.
And brother, when you said something about when they on that stuff, and somebody that's on that stuff, and you look at them like, what do you do, Zeus? What do you do when they start talking that crazy stuff? What do you do?
You gotta let them cook in it. You gotta go, oh yeah, you on one, and let them go.
And you know what I do? I'll walk away. Away. When they start talking that crazy stuff, it's time to go, because that conversation can go nowhere but down. Am I right?
Bingo.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and most of the MAGA is on that stuff. Most likely.
They're saying that Donald Trump is going to be owing $87,000 in interest on this money that he owes. There's no way, my brother, that he can come from under that.
Nope. Tell him.
And all you MAGAs, understand this. Do you want someone running your country that's under indictment 91 times, that's civilly been decimated, that's not a real billionaire? Do you really want that guy running your country? Think about that. Thank you, Ange. Think about that. Do you really want someone like that?
Make sure you're in your right mind before you answer the question, though, honestly. Because you might be on that stuff right now, and I get it. You loaded up this morning, and you came to this live, and your mind's just cooking. Calm down, and then come back and answer the question.
And remember when Obama had to disavow his preacher in Chicago? Yep. Remember that?
Yep.
All right, so all you people, think about this. When you go to bed at night and you close your eyes, imagine with all the stuff that Donald Trump has done, imagine if he was a black man. Would you stand for it? Would you stand for it?
Oh, Snowbird, you would? If Obama did what Trump is doing, Snowbird, you would stand for Obama?
Unbelievable. It's quite sad. I know my time's up, my brother. I thank you so much for bringing me up. And one of these days, I will be one of the bad boys.
All right. Well, keep up the good work, my brother.
I will do it, brother. I'll do it. All right. Don't worry.
All right.
I love you, man.
I love you too, man. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Ceddy Said a round of applause. No lies detected. No lies detected.
Have a good one, brother.
Pam. Hello, Pam. Nice to see you. Good morning. How are you doing, Pam? Are you here? Oh my God! Let's go. Oh my goodness. So ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we're still cooking these MAGA minds. We got a lot of folks out there who still seem to be confused about what winning is. All right. Good morning, Herniak. Good morning. How are you?
Hello. I just want to tell the people that think Russia is for America, I am Russian and native mix, okay? That I was born in Russia, raised in the United States and Alaska on the reservation. So listen here, Russia is not our friend. I don't know what y'all are thinking. Putin is not this cool guy. He is not nice. He is a monster. I have lost family. My whole entire mother's side of the family.
Wow.
Because of how bad it is, how bad Putin is. I don't want to hear, oh, let's go and do his model. I could tell you there's only one thing, I can give credit to him for one thing. and one thing only, and it's his animal policy. And that is it. Because that is the only thing he is good. That is the
Wow.
only thing. Other than that, he does not care about human life. He does not care about women's rights. He does not care about children. He does not care.
Bingo. Bingo. Well, let me ask you this. Why do you think a lot of these MAGA Republicans are so involved with the Russia stuff that's been going on? What do you think is happening?
They are wanting the authoritarianism.
Mm.
They want that control. They want that be able to, by a group. But the thing is, what the issue is, the separation here is the issue is religion here.
Yeah.
They're trying to mix religion, politics, and authoritarianism.
Mm.
They have a group of people that are extremely religious and extremely political.
Mm.
And they want to mix that what Putin does with the complete control with the people they do not agree with.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're trying to do, and that's the reason why they idolize Putin, because he has complete control.
Mm. They want
And
they love the power that Putin seems to be able to showcase and display. They crave that. They want that.
yeah, and that's the issue with, no offense, this might fit, that's the issue with the human race.
Okay.
Humans are naturally we're mean.
Mm.
We're cruel.
Bunch of cruel individuals.
And
they haven't checked in with themselves to check that demon, it sounds like what you're saying. While that might be the nature, when you have some sort of abilities like you and I do, you should be able to put that into check, right? Right, Pam?
me personally, yes.
Yes.
Because I'm a world traveler. I've been all over the world. And definitely since I married a military man, I married a Marine. We've been to Germany. So I've been to Europe. I've been to Japan. I've been in the United States. I even went to Puerto Rico and stayed close to Cuba. I was able to visit Cuba before. So I'm like, I've visited numerous locations, and I don't know why America is getting away with this. I apologize. I'll leave.
No. It's fine. But see, I mean, this is what we're doing, right? It's very important that you get it out here and put it out here so that folks can process what's really going on in the world. Because a lot of these folks, they don't know. They think they know, but when it's folks like you, they get in the box and share out the truth just like that. It leaves them in a spot where they no longer can play like they don't know. So I definitely appreciate that. All right.
And thank you for having me out there. I just needed to get that truth out.
Keep on doing it, and always feel free to send a guest request. All right, I really do enjoy having a variety of people come up in here and tell the truth. All right, I really do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Herniak. I hope I'm saying your name right. If not, forgive me. I'm butchering.
You are.
It.
You are.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Herniak, for joining the box and having the courage and conviction to be able to get in the box and tell the truth and shame the devil, especially the MAGA demon. You see, ladies and gentlemen, day in and day out, we have folks that are just open and honest about what they're experiencing, what they're going through, and 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, everyone can come to the same conclusion that these Trump supporters, ladies and gentlemen, have clearly lost it. All right, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Silver St. Cloud. Welcome. All right, I see you, Bamba. Hello, good morning. How are you doing? Long time no see. I've seen you in the comments, but you've been
Yeah, I had to take a step back from going live. I had kind of some heart stuff come up that landed me in the hospital, but I am 100%. I am back and ready to go.
Let's go. Let's go. All righty then. That's
So
what
let's
I
talk.
like to
I'd
hear.
like to talk about our veteran community and what's been going on in the Senate for our veterans.
Let's do it. Yes.
We know that Biden has passed the most bipartisan legislation to help the veteran community of any president in the last 20 years. One of the most recent ones he did is actually in regards to the border. It's the Veteran Service Recognition Act that allows for the fast return of our disabled and our combat veterans that have been deported to Mexico
Wow.
Because we know that the military had kind of a fast track program known as
Right.
the naturalization through military service, but recruiters
Right.
were lying and saying that
Good morning.
just by serving these individuals would get citizenship, and that's not the case. So unfortunately, they would step out of the military, still not be citizens, and then if anything, they would then be deported. The border states are deporting them, which is absolutely abysmal that Mexico is housing them and taking better care of our combat veterans than we are. And
Wow.
there's actually a new bill just introduced at the Senate called the Courage to Serve Act. It's sponsored by two veterans who were West Point classmates, Republican Pat Ryan of New York and Representative Pat Ryan, who's Democrat, and then Representative John James, who's Republican from Michigan. And this would fast track and give them a step so that the recruiters would no longer be lying to them and would help them become naturalized citizens quicker through their military service. So that's something I would definitely, push forward and thank Joe Biden for actually helping our combat veterans.
Wow. I mean, now you post this stuff. You post this. You have a link to this in your bio.
I will. Yes, absolutely. If you go into my link tree, yeah, there's definitely all of the sources that I use and everything like that. And I do link to the Veteran Affairs, the Senate Committee for Veteran Affairs that shows all of the bills currently. There's some out there for to help stop the 22 a day. There's a lot out there. And I would encourage veterans and those that do actually support the veteran community to take a look at those sites and see what's out there and support bills, that do help the veteran community. And as a veteran, Biden definitely has my support and my vote.
Thank you. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. Maybe you can help me. I have some friends out here that they ask me, well, besides, the argument that he's not Donald Trump, why should one support President Biden, right? And you've said Biden has earned your vote.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to those who think like that, right? What would you say to these folks out there?
I would say, so I'm also still currently a Republican. I am considered a rhino, and I'm leaving the Republican Party because I think it's offensive that the founder of the white supremacist Proud Boys has come out publicly. Gavin Innes has come out publicly and stated that he supports Trump. So, not only does Trump think that veterans are suckers and losers, but he has the white Christian nationalist, the white supremacy vote. And I think that in light of both of those things, any veteran who votes for Trump is a blue falcon. They're what we call, I'll keep it clean here, but we consider veterans who vote against their own best interest and who would harm other veterans to not be good people. Among our ranks. They're blue falcons.
Thank you. I gotta look that up. I don't know about the Blue Falcons, but I'll have to look that up. And thank you so much, Silver St. Cloud. You're truly doing God's work out here. All right.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're back. I really am glad that you're back and you're healthy. All right, health first. All right, take care of yourself before you get on out here. All right.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you later.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to the beautiful Silver St. Cloud. No lies detected. Follow her. Click on the link in the link tree, especially our veterans out there who are interested. All right, that's what this is about. As much as this show is about, Zeus, right? It really isn't. That's the trick, right? It's really about all of you, right? I do talk about MAGA quite a bit, but obviously, what we're all out here doing is trying to save our democracy. All right. Let's move it along, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Who do we have here? Peaches. Good morning, Peaches. Welcome to the show. Is this our first time doing business?
Yes, good morning.
All right.
I work for Veteran Affairs, and I wanted to.
Hold on. Can you hold on one second? I have to do this, right?
I'm sorry.
Everyone that is the first time on the show, I got to ask you some questions, all right? So that folks know where you stand on issues that matter. All right. And then you can do your spiel, all right? Are you ready, Peaches? We got 3 questions for you. You're right, Rick. Are you ready?
Yes.
First question: do you think the 2020 election was stolen by President Biden?
Okay, please don't take offense to this. I am a friendly. However, I'm on the clock right now with Veteran Affairs, so I cannot talk politics at
Oh,
all.
okay. Okay,
Okay,
I can live with
but
that.
I just
I
chime. Go ahead.
Go
I'm
ahead. Go ahead.
sorry.
I get what you're doing. Please continue.
Okay, so I just wanted to chime in to what Silver was talking about. We do have veterans who are not American citizens, and we do process their claims. We do give them disability. They do get all the benefits of a service member who's now considered a veteran. So just so everyone knows, they can and do qualify for veteran benefits, even if they're not American citizens. And I've rated many claims for veterans who were from several different countries.
Yeah.
Mexico, the Philippines, Haiti, some of the African countries. And so, without endorsing anything or anybody, I think
Can I
that's a
ask
good
you?
thing. Sure.
Can I ask this question? Because I'm trying to keep it in at a level where you can actually respond. What would you say is some of the couple or one of the largest misunderstandings about this matter? Right? What did you say is the myth out there that most folks don't understand about what you're doing?
Um, from a VA perspective, I think that they think those of us who work for VA don't that we don't care about our veterans, that we're lazy, we don't do our work. I can't speak for the hospital. I don't work for the hospital system. I work for Veterans Benefit Administration, and I can tell you that we are aggressively working these claims to try to get the backlog up. We got a significant backlog when the PACT Act went into effect. So everybody that I work with, we are working mandatory overtime. Some of us are working 11 and a half hour days, 6 days a week, trying to push these claims through. So I encourage all of our veterans to read over the pact because it affects every veteran. It's not just the Gulf War veterans. It's not just the Vietnam veterans. They're peacetime veterans too.
All the veterans.
All the veterans. If you were exposed to a toxic chemical in the course of your MOS or your duties, and you have a physical disability or an illness that you believe was caused by being exposed to fumes, solvents, and the like, you can file that claim under the PACT Act. And, we'll ask for a medical opinion on if the exposure that you had is related to or caused the illness that you are trying to claim. So
Okay. Now one more
it's not
question.
really hard, Harry. Harry, if you just get with a veteran service organization like VFW, American Legion, DAV, we got Purple Heart, Vietnam Veterans. There's hundreds of service organizations, Wounded Warrior, and so forth. They can help you file your claim, and those service organizations do not charge. There are attorneys and agents out there that will charge, but there are also these service organizations that do it for free.
Wow.
So
Well, you answered it. You answered. I was going to ask this question. You answered. So you're catching them as they come. But this is very as far as I'm concerned, educational information, and I do appreciate the fact. I do appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to share that info with us. All right, people.
yeah. So if we have some veterans out there who discharged and they're foreign nationals, file your claim because you're entitled to those benefits because you did serve our country.
Bingo.
And I do hope that something comes along to help those veterans become naturalized citizens.
Bingo.
Okay, thank you for
File
having
those
me.
claims. You're
Pardon me?
welcome. You're welcome. I said no. I told them file those claims, like you said. All right, and thank
Yep.
you. All right.
Okay,
All
bye-bye,
right,
people.
bye bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to the beautiful peaches. These shows, I tell you, they're always amazing. Sometimes you just don't know what to expect when you go live, but I'm so happy that there's folks out there that are listening to this show and making their contributions count as much as as much as they can. Good morning. Good. Thank you, Ray. Dark Bamba, hello. How are you? Oh my God, look at this
I'm
guy.
doing good. Thank you for having me up,
All
handsome.
right. No problem. All right. Thank you
So
so
while we're
much.
talking about veterans, you know me, I look at weird places around the globe, and
Yeah.
right now the United States is really coming down in opinion rating globally,
Mm.
and Americans need to stop and think if treaties are important.
Hmm.
We've got Australia who's like going, what are they going to do with us?
Yeah.
We have so many treaties that people are wondering if we're going to just back out of them. Internationally, they're prepping for Donald Trump. They
That's
see
scary.
him. They see him as a threat to their existence.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
I don't get why MEGA is totally against supporting our treaties. Now, I want to
Right.
give a brief history lesson. I think it was 1986. There was 77,000 nuclear warheads between the United States and Russia.
Mm.
And our treaty brought that way down. Okay. Now the
Right.
treaty expired. Donald Trump said he wasn't going to re sign it, he wasn't interested in renegotiating it. And the
Wow.
next year, Putin said he wouldn't renegotiate it. Whereas a really good negotiator would have stuck it out and started working hard and
Yeah.
bringing in other countries who have nuclear warheads.
Wow.
So, can you imagine Donald Trump with nukes?
I can't even imagine him with classified
Somebody will
documents,
call him on a
Bamba.
Friday night after all his staff goes home for the weekend and says, "Hey, we want you to do this." And he'd like,
Mm.
"Okay."
Yeah.
I mean, this is insanity. So,
Yep.
yes, right now, Donald Trump is considered a threat to other nations as much as Putin.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? I mean,
Yes.
we already got the evidence that, folks in Congress are working with
Well,
Russia.
when
The
he
evidence is
said,
already there.
yes, when he said that he would tell Putin to do what he damn well wanted if they hadn't paid up, I'm thinking, are they starting to ask themselves if he hadn't already done that?
Yeah.
How do
Have
we
you?
know that he
Yeah.
didn't do that? How do we
Yeah.
know he didn't sell out Ukraine?
How
And
do
the
we
other
know?
thing is, Ukraine is fighting for freedom and independence and trying to defeat an occupier, and they aren't
Yeah.
asking us for boots on the ground. They would love support, not only
Yeah.
financial support um,
Right.
and ammunition, but they need help with, like, if you were in the Air Force and you know
Right.
how to take care of jets, they could use
Right.
you. If you know how to service the
Yeah.
the weapons that we've sent over there, because
Yeah.
service is the biggest, that's the biggest problem,
Right.
right? How to take care of these pieces of equipment. So if you know that stuff, they would love to talk to you. So that's all I wanted to say. Guys, we have to stop and think, do we really want to close ourselves off and let Russia take over, Mexico, or China to help out, take over Mexico?
Absolutely not.
No, that's happening,
Yep. But we're gonna make sure we push against it, all right?
right?
Because
But
that's
that's
why it's
what we
important.
do. We need to think ahead.
Bingo.
Yep. Thank you. You have a
Uh,
great day.
all right, all right. You too, Bamba, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up to the beautiful Bamba, Dark Bamba. No lies detected. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, listen, Zeus got to get up out of here. If I didn't get to you today, let's try tomorrow. All right, I didn't realize it. All right, but before I do, I want to address something. All right, and this is serious. People out there on the left, they call themselves leftists. They say, why should they vote for President Biden, right? And so I want to, and they say do it without mentioning Donald Trump, all right? And the reasons that they're saying they have issues with him has to do with their beliefs about various things, especially the conflict that's going on in Israel, the codifying of Roe into federal law, all right? And they just don't feel like President Biden is doing enough, right? So I want to give you guys a couple of reasons on why you should vote for President Biden. Number one, let's start here. Let's start with the economy. In poll after poll, a large majority of Americans are saying the economy is getting worse, that the inflation is outpacing their wages, and that they trust Republicans over the Democrats when it comes to turning the economy around. But here's the reality. The reality is that Biden and the Democrats have already turned the economy around, and you got to look at three key indicators: inflation, wages, and unemployment. Inflation, when Biden took over, was still low at 1.4%. All right. But its effects of the pandemic wore off. Supplies goods failed to meet the demand, and inflation spiked, hitting 5.4% by the summer of 2021. Stimulus spending and other further supply chain snarls pushed it even further to a height of 9.1%. But since then, inflation has fallen suddenly, dropping all the way down to 3.2% in October. All right, wage growth. Biden took over, wages were growing at 3.4%, about 2% higher than inflation, but by the summer of 2022, wages were growing much faster at 6.7%. And let's look at unemployment. When Biden took over, the jobless rate was at 6.3%. Today, it is at 3.9%. What else? Healthcare. For years, we've known Americans spend more on prescription drugs per patient than any other rich country. And we've known why. Most other countries have some kind of universal healthcare system, and that system negotiates lower prices with the world's major pharmaceutical manufacturers. Well, after 4 years, large majorities of Americans, regardless of political party, have said they've wanted Medicare to be able to negotiate with drug manufacturers. Well, thanks to President Biden, the Democrats, because now they can. Thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act, Medicare will begin negotiation on 10 important but costly drugs with lower prices taking effect in 2026. Negotiating prices isn't just better for patients, it also projects to cut $100 billion off the budget deficit over the next decade. Also, speaking of the deficit, one of the biggest misconceptions in American politics is that the Democrats are profligate spenders who drive up the national debt while Republicans drive it down. And that's hogwash. No one has actually looked at the data and believes this. When Biden took over, the budget deficit for 2020 had exploded to $3.1 trillion. In his first term in office, he and the Democrats brought it down to $2.8 trillion. They brought it down again to 2022 to $1.3 trillion. All right? And this is, ladies and gentlemen, showing you what Biden is doing. All right. Now let's talk about gun safety. There's nothing harder than getting common sense gun safety legislation passed in America. But last year, that's just what Biden and the Democrats did. With the help of a handful of Republican senators, Democrats passed a bill that would incentivize states to pass red flag laws and prevent convicted domestic abusers from owning guns, regardless of whether they were married to their victims at the time of the abuse. All right. And let's talk energy independence, all right? Partisans disagree on the severity of climate change and propriety of policies designed to address it. But regardless of party, we all like the idea of making America as energy independent as possible so that we don't have to depend on regimes in the Middle East or Russia. And of course, achieving energy independence requires a lot more domestic energy production, which creates jobs. In the last 3 years, Biden and the Democrats have presided over a massive expansion in domestic wind and solar energy production. In 2020, we produced 338 billion kilowatts hours of wind energy, or about 8.4% of America's domestic output. By 2022, it was up 435 billion, or 10.3%, and it continues to grow. Solar energy grew by 53% last year. But in case you thought that Biden was an ideologue who was trying to get America to turn its back on hydrocarbons, think again. Natural gas is bound to be part of our energy portfolio for a long time, since we possess it in abundance and it burns cleaner than oil and coal. And last but not least, let's talk about crime. All right. Americans are pessimistic about crime even when it's falling. This year is no different. Despite the public sense that violent crime has spiked during the pandemic, the data revealed that there is no such increase. Violent crime in 2021 was only slightly higher than 2020. By historic standards, it was very low. at 17 violent crimes per 1,000 people compared to 80 per 1,000 people in 1993. Since then, crime has actually fallen. According to the FBI, homicides fell by 6.1% between 2021 and 2022. Rape fell by 5.4%, and aggravated assault declined by 1.1%. Only robberies increased, and only by 1.3%. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know why you should vote for Biden, maybe that will help you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this special broadcast. I got to get up out of here. I hope you all enjoyed the show, and I will see you all next or tomorrow, same Zeus time, same Zeus channel. But before we go, you know what we got to do. First of all, you all deserve a round of applause. All right, thank you to all of the subscribers, to all the gifters, to all the panelists who came up, and my moderators. You all do an excellent job helping to keep this show exciting, engaging, and entertaining. Love the show, Brother Swervin. All right, and to the Zeus haters, to our haters out there, our critics and our detractors, those who continue to spread lies and misinformation and work on behalf of the Russian government, peddling lies. Let's give them one last round of what? Booze and shame! Get them out of here! You never demon! All right, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. I gotta get out of here. I love you all, seriously. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. What a show! Yes, I'll upload it to YouTube. I'm walking like Zeus. This is how I sound when I'm talking like Zeus. This is how I stare when I'm looking like Zeus. Later, ladies and gentlemen. All right, take care, stay safe. Thunder in the sky, light you up like Zeus. Hey, hey. I'm fired in the eagle and got bread on me too. Took a long time to get here and I'm feeling brand new. Hey, I'm down. I got money on my mind. Hey, hey. I can't hang around with you. You fall in love too quick. I see you radiant mahogany, jazzy. All right, no lies detected. Olive, thank you. And thank you. Mary, thank you. Reggie. All right, shout out to our veterans today. Pam, I don't know if you're still here, Pam. It was nice to see you. Come on up next time. Love to hear from you again. Hey, Valerie, thank you. Queen Flea, let's go. Yolanda, thank you, everyone. Said he said real. Straight facts, Miss Boss Diva. Slick as Rick, Reggie. Donald. Shay, and attacking. Swerve, you know who you are. Bigfoot. Miss Morning Star. Hey, you thinking that you cool till I pull up like Zeus. Hey, thank you, man. Mystica. Miss Boss Diva. Mark. Oh, I don't want to talk to Mark. Mark, you're a traitor. DJ Kitty Cat, shout out Heaven. Nice to see you. Lion Gambino, let's go. Hey, Rio, Little Hawk, my man. Hey, 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 hey. Lisa, that was hilarious. They were actually dancing to Zeus Coles, man. That was cool, right, Jess? Hey, Tony. Tony. Man, hit our goal, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Tony. So you're such a Oklahoma, Jimmy. Mom said get back to the basement. You messed up again. Coop. Nice to see you, Coop. Why do I support Jim Crow Joe? I don't. His name is not Jim Crow Joe. His name is President Joe Biden. All right. And did you hear what I said earlier? Not only are you a racist, but you're also a traitor. Now explain that to Zeus. You MAGA demon. How dare you get in my comments and try to portray yourself as a victim? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
I just want to find.
Oh, thank you, pal. And that's when he committed the crime.
One more than we have.
Yeah, right. All right. Reggie, are you there? Let's give him that Jack Smith remix. We have some traitors out there asking Zeus. I can't believe they asked me that question. Let's go. Here we go.
He's deranged. Jack Smith. He's deranged.
Jack Smith. He's deranged. Jack Smith. He's deranged. Yeah, man. Jack Smith. He's deranged. It's Zeus. Jack Smith.
There you go.
Donald Trump is indicted and
They take one charge and they turn it into 36 charges. Yeah.
He's a big Trump hater. Openly, he's a Trump hater.
Mark Brown.
And his wife.
Mark
is even more
Brown.
of a
First of
Trump
all, Mark Brown, listen up. I'm not only going to be here in November, I'm going to be here beyond November. All right? But I want you to do me a huge favor, Mark Brown, since you're so obsessed with Zeus, you and conservative Democrat and beer can Mike, all of you traitors, do me a favor. Shut down your apps today, all right? And don't come back until November. If Donald Trump is elected, I'll give you an apology. How about that? Other than that, you can just continue to do what you've been doing, which is, you know what, sitting your special behind down and listening to this special broadcast, all right? Now, what are we going to wrap this show up with? Oh, by the way, Mark, do me a favor. Do this.
Just keep thinking Trump, Trump, Trump. Trump is your daddy.
Keep thinking Trump is your daddy. Because you're disgusting like that, all right? All right.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level.
This is
We're
him.
going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military.
Right.
We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Oh.
Say, please,
Oh.
please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
We have to keep winning.
You know-
We have to win more.
You know he got
We're gonna
court.
win more.
You know he has court on March 25th, right? I hope before they start the trial, they play that clip right there, right before we get into the hush money payments, right? We're gonna play that clip because that right there, that sounds like somebody that's very, very desperate to win and is willing to do things they shouldn't do to win, like falsified business records and pay hush money. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta drop the bomb and then I'm out of here.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
And I mean that. To the gentleman, thank you, Coop. To the gentleman, there was a gentleman in a live I went to yesterday, a black gentleman. I want to make sure you understand why I say what Biden said is spot on. Because you ain't black. Do you understand President Biden has been standing shoulder to shoulder with the African American community to get voting rights, make sure we had access to vote? Trump hasn't done that. So if you decide you want to use your black skin, whatever you want to call it, to side with the modern day Confederate Army, he's right, you're not black. You are officially a slave.